This is the Just Live podcast with Dan and Suzie Potter, episode 99.
How much hope do you have?
Welcome to Rhythms of Hope, Part 5.
We begin in 22 seconds.
Live life, see the good days in it, just live. Live life, see the good days, see the good days. Follow your potential. And live life, see the good days in it. Thrive.
Your life is a remarkable story and adventure that only you can create.
We exist to motivate and equip you to live fully alive.
Welcome to this Just Live podcast on Rhythms of Hope, and especially on this Part 5, Overflowing Hope.
My name is Dan.
I'm Suzie. Together we are Doozy.
This is the wrap-up, and this is what we've been moving through the last 4 weeks to arrive at this place where it starts with God having hope. We then take in the joy and peace. We trust God that we may not just have a little bit of hope, but we may just lavishly overflow with hope for not just us, but for our world.
This is episode number 99, and if you actually want more than what you're just getting here, we'd love to recommend our podcast on how to live fully alive, and their numbers episodes 67 to 70. They're great
It's 4
episodes.
parts.
A lot of people really enjoy those, and if you want more about how to actually overflow with life, listen to those episodes or watch them.
So as you know, this year for Suzie and I is the year of hope. Our verse that we've been holding to is in Romans chapter 15:13, and it has to do with this God of hope giving us joy and peace. We trust in him, and he allows us to overflow with hope.
Yeah, we actually love the version from the Passion Translation that says, "Now may God, the fountain of hope,
Bubble, bubble.
fill you to overflowing with uncontainable joy." Once again,
yeah.
I just love that
The
concept.
circus comes to town.
And perfect peace. Like, how much peace, but perfect amount of peace as you trust in him. If you don't know any of those concepts, we invite you also to watch the previous 4 episodes, as this is part 5.
But here it comes.
And may the power of the Holy Spirit continually surround your life with his superabundance until you radiate with hope. You have so much that you overflow with hope.
Radiate with hope. So
Not
we've
just
gone.
enough for yourself, but enough to pass on
Yeah.
and share with others. I love that concept.
So we've taken a journey all the way down through. We've already talked about this. Starts with God. We get joy. We get peace. We trust God. But we end up being the ones that
overflow
radiant,
and radiate.
super abundant.
Superabundant hope, and it's all powered by the Holy Spirit. So we start with God giving us that hope so we can have hope, and then we get to tap into the power of the Holy Spirit.
This is abundance mentality
This
here.
is like, it's
You have an
not
abundance
scarcity. It's
of
not
hope.
scarcity, and I don't have quite enough even for myself. It's that I have so much that I have enough to share,
Yeah.
and it just like, you can't help but it overflow into others in a very positive
That's
way.
right. There's a passage in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 that says, "Now to him," we're talking about God, "now to him who is able to do immeasurably more."
More.
There's you can't measure more. It is more than we ask or imagine,
And we
according
can
to
ask and
his
imagine
power.
a lot.
Yeah, according to his power that is in work within us. This is the kind of God we have, that he is not just giving us a bit that we have to just walk around with our little bit. We just are just barely surviving, but there is an abundance, immeasurably more.
Yeah, love
That's
that.
the kind of God we
So
have.
there's a few pictures we want to roll out to you that's this abundance mentality. And one is of a beacon of light. So we've talked about lighthouse before, but a beacon of light, when it's like on the shore, and when we overflow with hope, we become like a beacon of light that's guiding others to the shore. As Dan was saying in some of the previous episodes, we lived on the Logos Hope for the longest amount of time, but
Which is a ship.
it's a ship, a book ship. So we would go from continent to continent. We were actually on the Logos 2, an earlier version of the ship, and it was
Doulos.
and Doulos. But on the Logos 2, we did the 21-day sail, which was one of the longest sails in the history
I remember
of the
being
ships.
out at sea and you could see these beacons of light coming out of Brazil. We were miles and miles away from the shore, but
Yeah.
these beacons of light, you knew over there was Brazil. Over there is Rio de Janeiro. I mean, you could
You
see
didn't
the
see
beacons of light.
lights. You didn't see lights for days and days, except for the starlights
Yeah.
and whatever. But then we saw a beacon of light, like there is land over there. That was just so exciting to see the land. And this is kind of what this overflowing hope is like. It's like a beacon of light, lets people know which direction to go and what it could look like.
When
'cause
I
it's
think
lit
of
up.
when I think of this abundance of hope that we can carry, my mind goes to Iceland. In Iceland, Susie and I were there, and there is this place where there's waterfalls everywhere, and it all goes in
Amazing.
down to this valley, and it is a mighty river. It is rushing. It is just percolating, I guess I could say, but it's flowing. And there is no stopping. No matter where you are, the ground is rumbling because there is something going on. And you literally can watch the water, and it just goes and goes, and then it's downstream. And I think, for me, that's a better picture of this hope that we have within us, that it's not containable. It is a mighty river. It is bubbling. It is falling. It is mixing. It is moving on. Because that's what it's for. Hope is not just to be contained.
The other concept of the mighty river for me is like everything that touches alongside of it gets hydrated, and it's very alive. Things are growing, the trees are healthy, the roots are going down, and they're drinking lots of water, and the vegetation is great. The flowers in season are happening because there's enough water to water that
I remember
land.
in Iguazu Falls, again in Brazil, all butterflies everywhere because the mist was so heavy. They were just,
moisture.
there was so much alive in that space.
Yeah, so maybe you have a different picture of what overflowing abundance, what would you like more of? What can you ask or imagine? And then let that be your concept for this overflowing hope.
And one of the things I think we have to understand is that hope is contagious, especially when it's powered by the Holy Spirit. I think sometimes you get this idea that the Holy
Person to
Spirit
person.
just wants to control and to keep everything under, put it all in the garbage can, put it on the lid, keep it all. No.
It's to share.
It is this thing that's contagious. It is moving. It is powerful. And one bit of hope sparks another bit. And it's like a forest fire, but it's a good forest fire of hope that moves out.
All right, scientifically, let's go there.
There's Susie
Studies
again.
on emotional contagion, which is being contagious emotionally.
Contagion?
Yeah, it's contagion.
I like that word.
I had to look it up because it was like, but it's actually just being contagious in a good way. Like sometimes when we have an illness, we just got over some nasal congestion and coughing, and we have that kind of thing. We caught it from somebody else.
I was actually in the pharmacy
we might
today.
have passed each other.
I was in the pharmacy today, and this guy saw me coughing, and he looked at me and says, "COVID." I said, "No, lung disease." And it was just like, it's not contagious, but it was there.
Yeah, so studies on emotional contagion, like being contagious emotionally in a positive way, reveal that positive emotions like hope can spread within groups, improving the collective well-being of the group of people. So if there's somebody who has hope, who is overflowing with hope, it becomes contagious in a very positive way. Research also shows that spiritual practices, and we've been talking about being filled with the Holy Spirit, and because we're empowered by the Holy Spirit, so the spiritual practices of connecting with God, of trusting in God, of receiving that hope and that joy and that peace from God, like we've been talking about in this series, it activates brain areas linked to optimism, being positive yourself, and resilience.
This
So
honestly,
the spiritual practices are actually doing good for your brain and your body.
yeah, this honestly reminds me of spending a day with Susie. If you've ever had the opportunity to be with Susie, she is a hope carrier, and she is optimistic, and she is this person
That's nice
that
of
when
you.
when I see this verse that we've been talking about for 5 weeks, she is in touch with this God of hope. She has joy. It oozes from her.
Oh, that's so sweet. Look at me overflowing into you.
Even peace from time to time. But she trusts
Not
in,
always.
she trusts in God. And I'm amazed sometimes that wherever she's at, she's just overflowing. She's bubbling out
I'm keeping
with
you.
this hope. No,
I'm keeping
it's
you.
a true thing. People that know you know that you live this. And it is the
When
year.
I'm personally healthy, yep,
Yeah,
it overflows.
it is the year that we, not only Susie, but both of us are living hope. And there's 3 reasons that we need overflowing hope. The first is it inspires others. You inspired me
Thank
and
you.
others, and I want my hope to also inspire others.
Let me just say, that was so kind. Words of affirmation are my love language. You can just please go on and on and on.
I think I
accept
did.
that.
I think I did already.
Okay, so another great reason for overflowing hope is it reflects God's power. So overflowing hope is a testimony of God's work in our life, and then we can see God through people. When God's at work within us, people can see it.
Yep. And the
Love
last
that.
one is it fuels greater faith. And I believe that's so true. If you're around a person that is full of hope, full of faith, full of belief,
Yeah.
We've been in places in the world that it's dark. The tsunami just hit.
Tough,
The
yeah.
storm just took out all the houses. The fire just came through. The water from the mountain rushed down and destroyed the village. We've been there. And it's devastating. And then you see someone shows up who have hope, who have faith, who believes, and suddenly it's like someone turns on a light.
Yeah.
Someone drops the anchor. All those terms. Someone opens up the fountain, and joy comes.
Yeah, and it helps you, it strengthens your faith, your belief in God, your belief in His promises as well. So when you're living it out and people can see you, God living through you, then it just like gives them hope to go for it
All
themselves.
right, so 5 weeks we've been talking about this journey from this God who has hope, joy, peace. We trust in Him. We overflow with hope. Now, what does the listener do with this?
Yeah, well, we would just really encourage you to do a hope check. So we've been trying to tell hope stories. And when we're focusing on the God who is like our fountain of hope, like how are you connecting to the God, the fountain of hope? Because that's going to allow you to have hope. What's your joy level? Do you have uncontainable joy? Are you overflowing? Are you filled with peace? What's your peace level? How is your trust in God? And then do you just have enough hope for yourself? Or are you finding that you have an overflowing abundance? You have lots of hope because you're empowered by the Holy Spirit. You're not only operating with your own power, with God's power. So maybe do a hope check. How are you doing in these 5 areas of your life? How's your hope? How's your joy? How is your peace? How's your trust in God? And do you have an overflowing amount of hope? And if not, you need to tap into the source of hope. Or if there's any of these areas that you need some support in, we'd love for you to chat with us.
Yeah, both Susie and I, we love to mentor. We love to coach.
Yeah.
If you're stuck somewhere, you don't need to be there.
That's right.
If you want to be, you don't have to be Tigger, but you don't have to be Eeyore either.
Right.
And sometimes we just need people to help us walk the journey. If you need that, that's what we do. Get a hold of us at any place that you can find us online. Drop us a note and let's see how we can help you move into that space where you are not only holding hope, but you're releasing it. It's flowing out from you.
We also want to highlight earlier episodes number 67 to 70 about how to live fully alive. Just in case you want some more on this subject, like knowing who you are and living that fully alive. That's like living with hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been Rhythms of Hope. We've had a 5-part series. If you've missed any of the parts, just go back to earlier episodes. Thank you so much for joining us on this year of hope.
Yeah.
And we're trying to have rhythms of hope. We're trying to have hope stories. We're trying to notice where we can be have gratitude, let that joy flow, let the peace come. Breathing slower, being more mindful, and having the benefits of actually living with hope.
And may you live fully alive as you love your life, your world, and your God. My name's Dan.
I'm Susie. Together we are Doozy.
Live fully.
And live fully and love fully.
Yes.
And have hope.
Love fully.
And love.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. You will live in love.
Trustfully. Peacefully.
Yes.
Joyfully.
And overflowingly.
And we'll say goodbye.
Okay. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day.